Hello, welcome to Trapunto. My name is Jamie. This video is a quick little two-parter about thread and needles for English paper piecing. Let's get into it. When it comes to needles and English paper piecing, it's kind of like every other supply that you're going to look at. It comes down to personal preference. So we'll start on the left here. This needle is a long darner, which is going to be similar to a Milner's, but I believe Milner's have smaller eyes. They are similar to quilting needles, which is this one right here, in the eye shape, but of course, as you can see, it is much longer. It could also potentially be easier to hang on to simply because there is more needle to hang on to. This one is my preferred needle. This is a quilting number 10 with a large eye. Quilting needles typically have eyes that are about half the size of this. So you can see why I prefer a big eye. I like stitching with a super short needle simply because it is less real estate that I'm pushing through the seams as I'm sewing. So I only have about an inch to push through my seams, whereas with this one, you can see I have almost like 3 times the length to get through my seam before my thread even starts coming through. This needle here is an embroidery needle. The eye is slightly wider than the barrel of the needle, which helps thread come through a little easier because the needle is essentially making room for the thread to come through with the shape of the eye. So this is also a good one to try. And this last one is an applique number 10 with a big eye. Applique needles are similar to quilting needles, but they are slightly longer. As you can see, this one has a little bit longer than my quilting number 10. So quick video on little needles. I wouldn't let anybody tell you that you have to stitch with one or the other. Stitch with whatever you have and maybe give a new one a try. When it comes to thread, there are 3 different kinds and 3 different sizes that you will most likely run across that are the most common that people use for English paper piecing. There are people that will swear up and down that you have to use one type and one size. If you're not using it, you're not doing it right. Don't buy into it. So I use cotton, specifically from Aurifil. You know, it is 50 weight, which is the weight that I use for English paper piecing because it has the orange spool. With 50 weight, your stitches may be more prone to show. As I mentioned in my stitching video, that doesn't bother me personally. It can also be used in your sewing machine, which is great because dual purpose. The nice thing about cotton is it doesn't stretch. It will shrink at the same rate as your cotton fabric if you do not wash your fabric, like I don't wash mine. And when you're looking for cotton thread, you want to use high quality with long fibers to prevent any shredding or breaking. So some brands are Aurifil, Gutermann, and Mettler. I have never had Aurifil break on me. And the reason why I like stitching with 50 weight is I feel like it's just a little bit more durable to the wear and tear of how I treat my projects. I have them folded up in project bags. I take them with me. So they are kind of folded up, abused, taken around. And I find that the 50 weight cotton lends itself to that. The next weight that you will hear about is most likely 80 weight. It is very thin and will allegedly hide better. This is for hand stitching only, so you can't put it in your machine. It has a little bit of stretch to it, which can help with preventing breaking, and it does not shrink. So you may notice more pulling at your seams after washing, but washing your fabric prior will help eliminate this issue. Some brands of polyester are Decobob, which I have here, Invisifil, Coats and Clark's, Bottom Line. The bottom line is 60 weight, so it's not as fine as the 80 weight. And I believe the Invisifil is 100 weight. Lastly is silk. So this is 100 weight silk. Silk is very strong and very fine. It sinks into your seams more, allegedly. Silk is also more slippery. So getting your thread tension right for snug seams will potentially be a learning curve. I would also say that with the polyester. As I'm feeling the thread here, they all have different textures, and the polyester and the silk are definitely smoother in texture than the cotton is. And when I say allegedly, when it sinks into seams and such, I made this sample for a class that I taught. And as you can see on these hexagons, I have used the 3 different threads. So in the middle, on these 2 seams here, I have used the 50 weight Aurifil. On this seam here and here, I have used the 80 weight Decobob. And on this seam here, I have used the 100 weight silk here and here. And I just have angle and perpendicular because, as I showed in my stitching video, I like to stitch with my needle at an angle, and then the perpendicular is the needle going in 90 degrees. So it just shows you the difference of how they look on the back and then on the front. So again, this is the Aurifil on these 2. This is going to be the silk 100 weight and the polyester 80 weight. Now, I don't know about you, and I understand the papers are still in this sample, but I can't tell the difference. My glasses are new, so I don't need a new prescription, but I really cannot tell the difference between the 3. So when people get a type away about what thread you should be using, I really don't get it. I stitched this entire sample aside from the other seams with 50 weight cotton. As you can see, I have the other stitches that I showed in my stitching video, but this is all 50 weight, even this one here. So I don't know what to tell you. Even when we lay them out on my sample here to show the different weights, so we'll do 50 weight, 80 weight, and 100 weight. And we'll zoom in real good. Maybe not that good. Can you see any kind of difference here? There might be a slight difference. And maybe I'm just a little biased because I don't really like it when people get a little, oh, well, if you're not using this, you're doing it wrong, because that's a huge pet peeve for me. But when you see them all laid out, so this is the cotton, polyester, silk, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to see the difference. So I guess the point of this video is to tell you about the different kinds of thread that are out there, the different weights that are out there. Whatever works for you best is the best decision. If you prefer to stitch with cotton, stitch with cotton. If you prefer to stitch with polyester, stitch with polyester. If you'd like to stitch with silk, stitch with silk. I don't know what to tell you. If you have any insider info on what makes one better than the other one, I would love to know. I personally stitch with cotton because it's easier to find. Everybody has cotton. Polyester is also not that difficult to find if you prefer polyester. The silk, I did have to place a special order through one of the distributors that we work with here at the store. And I don't know how readily available 100 weight silk is. I think 100 weight polyester is easier to come by. But again, personal preference. Whatever you want to do, you do you. All right, that's all I have about thread. Short and sweet. We shall see you next time.